So this is the practice speaking test conducted for English Pro Tips. My name is Eli. Can you please tell me your full name?
So, my name is Hyeon Kim.
Okay. And what shall I call you?
Yeona is fine.
Okay, Yeona. Now, in this first part, I'd like to ask you some questions about yourself. Let's talk about what you do. Do you work or are you a student?
I am a student at the moment. I am studying physiotherapist.
Okay. And have you been studying this subject for a long time?
It's been 3 years so far.
Mm-hmm. And what do you like most about this subject?
I like to help people, and I like to see people who need help from me, and I like to see like they're getting better every day, the improvement, and I feel I just like to see the improvements every day, like the people in the hospital, they get better by me.
Now, let's talk about clothing brands. What kind of clothing brands do you like best?
Zara.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so I asked Yeona what clothing brands she likes, and she just gave me one and then waited for the next question. Now, this would be fine in a normal conversation. However, for the IELTS speaking test, it's a good idea to elaborate on your answers. This doesn't mean that you have to speak for 10 minutes about every question you get asked. However, it's a good idea to elaborate on your answer and show the examiner that you can talk at length. If you don't give longer answers, the examiner is likely to ask you why, to encourage you to elaborate on your answer. Why?
Why? I don't know, it's everywhere. And it's cheap and nice. Nice design, and I like the trends of the clothes in there.
Which is more important to you, the brand or design of the clothes you wear?
Design.
Why?
I think I have a specific type that I like for the clothes, and like sometimes Zara doesn't have like those clothes that I like, but mostly like they really do nice designs, and I love them.
Would you ever spend a lot of money on clothes designed by a famous designer?
No, I don't do that because I'm a student. Yeah.
Okay, here Yeona has made a very common mistake. I asked her, would you ever spend a lot of money on clothes designed by a famous designer? Now she answered, no, I don't, because I'm a student. Now I'm not asking, do you ever spend? It's, would you ever spend? So I'm asking her a hypothetical question. Would she, in the future, or if she were rich, spend money on clothes designed by a famous designer? So she could answer, I would buy clothes designed by a famous designer if I had the money. Or, no, I wouldn't, because I don't think it's worth the money. Okay. Do you think you can understand aspects of someone's personality from the clothing brands that they choose?
Sorry, I can ask you the questions again.
Of course. Do you think you can understand aspects of someone's personality from the clothing brands that they choose?
I don't really know. I've never really thought of that before, so I don't know, sorry.
I don't really know. It's very common that you get asked questions that you don't know the answer to in your IELTS speaking test. However, instead of saying you don't know and apologizing, you can always tell them that you've never really thought about that, but then have a go anyway. So she could say something like, I've never really considered that. I guess you can probably understand aspects of someone's personality from the brands that they wear. For example, someone who always likes to wear sports brands like Nike and Adidas, might consider themselves to be a sporty person. Remember, there are no right or wrong answers. It's better just to give the question a go if you're not sure.
Let's talk about going to restaurants. Do you often go to restaurants?
Yeah, I used to, but yeah, not anymore because of COVID. Yeah.
Which do you prefer, eating at home or eating in a restaurant?
I think I prefer eating at home.
Why?
It's because I just get to like pick a lot of foods, more than that I should eat, because I get so excited to like try every single foods, in the restaurant, and I always like regret.
Why?
Because I eat a lot.
Have the kinds of restaurants you like changed over the years?
Tough question, because I didn't really go to restaurant over the year because of COVID.
Well, over the years, so from the past until now.
Oh, okay. Over the year. Okay. I don't think so. I like to go to Korean restaurant still.
Why?
Because that's where I'm from, and especially in Ireland as a foreigner, like I can't really get to eat my hometown food that much. I think that's why.
How do you choose which restaurants to go to?
Mostly my boyfriend just choose. I don't really like choose any restaurant like.
Why?
He has more strong opinions than me. I don't really care whatever I eat, but my boyfriend loves kind of choose specific foods for that day.
Now in this next part I'm going to give you a topic and I'd like you to talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes. And before you talk, you'll have 1 minute to think about what you're going to say, and you can make some notes if you wish. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's some paper and here's a pen for making notes. And here is your topic.
So I think about it for 2 minutes.
Think about it for 1 minute.
1 minute.
Yeah. I'd like you to describe a famous person you would like to spend the day with. Alright, remember you have 1 to 2 minutes for this, so don't worry if I stop you. I'll tell you when the time is up. Can you start speaking now, please?
Yep, and so I would like to spend the day with Tom Hardy, which is a famous actor. It's because I watched the movie a few weeks ago called Legend, which is my favorite, which became my favorite movie since that time. The reason that I chose him is he is a good actor. He was a good actor in that movie, and he's also a good actor in another movie. Handsome. And especially in that movie, he was really impressive. And I would like to go, I don't know, maybe in Ireland, have this pint of Guinness and have a chat. That's it, as a fan. I think, yeah, that would be my choice. Yeah.
Right, I love that Yeona is going to take Tom Hardy for a pint of Guinness in an Irish pub. Brilliant. However, to get band 7 or above for fluency and coherence, you need to show the examiner that you can talk at length. So, in part 2, it's important to keep talking for 2 minutes. Remember, once you have talked for long enough, the examiner will just stop you and you'll move on to the next part of the test. So just keep on talking until the examiner tells you to stop.
Keep talking. Okay. So I would meet him in the airport, and I would bring him to the best Irish pub in Ireland, and we'll order the Guinness in the pub, and we'll have a plenty of Guinness in that pub, and just have a chat together, and just asking how why he became an actor, because I think I saw the interview that he was saying he had a
Thank you.
yeah.
Do you think you will ever have a day like this?
I don't think so.
No. So we've been talking about a person you would like to spend a day with, and I'd like to discuss with you one or two more general questions related to this. Let's consider first of all spending time with friends. What kind of activities do friends do together in your country?
In my country, we normally go to karaoke when we have a free time. That's kind of really common activity. No, not karaoke. Climb.
Yeah, is there a difference? I mean, so now you're living in Ireland, and before you were living in
Korea.
And do you find that there's a big difference between the things that people do in their free time in Korea compared to Ireland?
No, it's actually really similar.
Right, one thing that is clear is that Yeona has very good pronunciation, and you can hear that in the rhythm of her answer. No, it's actually really similar. Have a listen again.
And do you find that there's a big difference between the things that people do in their free time in Korea compared to Ireland?
No, it's actually really similar. We spend our time doing a lot of activities, like in the daytime, like do exercise, go to the gym, go for a walk, jog, and then in the nighttime, drinks. It's just really similar, between Korea, and I was really surprised by that.
Do you think that the activities that friends do together changes as friends grow older?
I think so, because none of my friends in my country, they don't really climb.
Okay, so here Yeona has started talking about her friends. However, the questions in part 3 of the speaking test are generally more broad and ask about your opinions rather than about your life. So in part 3, try not to talk about yourself too much.
But I started climbing 2 years ago, and I've been suggesting them to do it, but they never really climb with me.
And what about more generally? For example, as friends become closer, do you think the types of activities that they do together changes?
Some people who climb with me.
Well, not necessarily people climbing, but just friends in general. For example, maybe when they first meet each other, they'll do activities where they get to know each other, and then maybe as they get to know each other better, the kind of activities they'll do change.
I don't know, actually. Interesting questions. I don't know. It never really happened to me. Yeah.
Let's continue. Let's talk about spending time with others. What do you think are the advantages of spending time with a lot of very different people?
I mean, different type of interesting or
Exactly.
okay. Maybe it would be hard to find a common topic to discuss, or maybe there might be someone who's really interesting on a topic, but still it'll be really hard to have having a conversation continuously, with the same topic.
And so do you think it's a good thing to spend time with a variety of different people?
Not all the time, but sometimes that'll be really interesting, another type of activity or another interesting topics,
How do you think we are influenced by the people that we spend time with?
I'm not really I don't think I'm a good influence To people, like, and I'm not really, like, I'm not talking like good influence, but I mean, I don't think I'm really, I don't know, it's kind of hard question, sorry.
That's okay. Do you think it's better to spend time getting to know a few people very well, so one or two very close friends, or is it better to get to know a lot of people but not so well?
I think I like to spend the time with a few people, like, who are really close to each other.
What's the difference between the two?
Well, you already know what they like, and they already know what I like with the close people. But then they're all the different type of a lot of variety of people. I still need to put a lot of effort, even though, like, I'm meeting them to have fun. I don't be like fully enjoy that time, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
Thank you very much. That is the end of the speaking test.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, in my opinion, Yeona would be getting band 5.5 for this test. However, I think that with a little bit of work and familiarity with IELTS, she would be able to score a band 7 or above. And what we'll do is look at her score for this test and how she could boost her score in the future. So firstly, we have fluency and coherence. This refers to your ability to talk at length without hesitation or repetition. If we look at the public band descriptors, you can see that at band 6 it says, is willing to speak at length. Now, Yeona wasn't always willing to speak at length, and there were times when she just gave a short answer and then waited for the next question. So, for example, in part 1, when I asked her about which clothing brand she liked, she just said Zara and then waited for the next question.
Let's talk about clothing brands. What kind of clothing brands do you like best?
Zara. Yeah.
Okay, so as a result, she would be more likely to get band 5 for fluency and coherence. To improve this, Yeona needs to elaborate on her answers. So when I ask her about what her favorite brands are, she can tell me Zara, and then begin to voluntarily explain why she likes Zara so much. Next we have Lexical Resource. This refers to your vocabulary. Now, Yeona has a lot of great vocabulary in this test. Things like pint of Guinness, common topics to discuss, nice design, go to the gym, go for a walk. Lots of really good vocabulary. However, I would give her a band 5 for Lexical Resource, and this is largely because she isn't able to answer all of the questions. For example, when I asked her, do you think you can understand aspects of someone's personality from the clothing brands that they choose? She just said, I don't really know. I've never really thought about that. Let's have a look.
Do you think you can understand aspects of someone's personality from the clothing brands that they choose?
I don't really know. I've never really thought about this before, so I don't know, sorry.
Okay, so this makes me think that she would only be around band 5 because she struggles to talk about unfamiliar topics. So my advice to Yeona would be to just have a go answering the question. Remember, there are no right or wrong answers, so just say something like, I've never thought about that before, but I guess, and then elaborate on your thoughts. So far she has band 5 for fluency and coherence and band 5 for lexical resource. Now I'm going to give her band 6 for grammatical range and accuracy, and that's because she uses a lot of complex structures in her speaking. For example, when she's talking about spending a day with Tom Hardy, she recognizes that this is a hypothetical situation, and so she says, I would meet him in the airport and I would bring him to the best Irish pub. So the use of would in these sentences shows an ability to use conditional, hypothetical structures, which is considered as a complex structure in IELTS. Let's have a look.
I would meet him in the airport and I would bring him to the best Irish pub.
Also, she appropriately uses used to. So, for example, when I ask her about whether she often goes to restaurants, she says, I used to, but not anymore because of COVID.
Do you often go to restaurants?
Yeah, I used to, but yeah, not anymore because of COVID.
So, used to is a great way to talk about things that happened regularly in the past, but not anymore. Finally, there's pronunciation. Now, Yeona has great pronunciation. She has great rhythm, and when she speaks, she is able to stress certain words to convey her ideas. Listen to the rhythm of her voice when she answers this question.
And do you find that there's a big difference between the things that people do in their free time in Korea compared to Ireland?
No, it's actually really similar. We spend our time doing a lot of activities, like in the daytime, like do exercise, go to the gym, go for a walk, joke, and then in the nighttime, drinks.
Very impressive. She's also got a slight Irish accent, which you can hear when she says words like physiotherapist. She makes the TH sound like a T, so physiotherapist. Listen again.
Do you work or are you a student?
I am a student at the moment. I am studying physiotherapist.
Great pronunciation. I would personally be giving her a band 7 for pronunciation, and I think she could even improve her pronunciation by speaking more clearly and confidently in future tests. So my top 3 tips for Yeona would be, firstly, elaborate on your answers. Don't just give short answers and then wait for the examiner to ask you another question. Second, remember there are no right or wrong answers. Even if you don't know the answer to a question, just have a go. Say something like, I've never really thought about that, but I'd say, and then give your opinion. Finally, try to be more confident during the test. Yeona has a great level of English, and with a little more confidence in herself, she'd be able to get a higher band score. Hopefully I'll be able to do another practice speaking test with Yeona in the future, and I really hope that you guys have learned some useful vocabulary and tips for your IELTS speaking. Good luck with your studies, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye then.